ready? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Somerville. Very special, exciting edition of the podcast today. We are interviewing my girlfriend. Welcome, Kate, to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Now, right away, you are nervous. You're not comfortable, correct?
I am uncomfortable.
It took me a while to even convince you to do this, and we, at this moment, are not convinced it will be posted. We're simply recording it with the understanding that if you don't like it, it gets deleted.
Correct.
So for our listeners, if you're hearing this, congratulations. We made the cut, and she approved it. But if you're not hearing this, then obviously you'll never know. Kate, welcome to the studio. Very exciting for me. We've been in a relationship now for a while.
Exactly how long?
Yeah, it's since May 11th of 2018. Mm-hmm. That is over a year and a half. And I thought it'd be very funny. You now, as a comedian, I have long protected you. I use the word protected. You have commented that I'm never posting pictures of you. You're not on my social media. The average person in the street would not know that I had a relationship if they looked at my Facebook, Instagram, etc.
Right.
I have told you that was for, in many ways, I'm a private person. As strange as that sounds, I'm a public personality. I do stand up, talk about my life, but I protect those I love and care about. And also for you. I mean, sometimes when you post stuff, you get a little hate mail or some negativity out there in the world. I didn't want that for you. Mm-hmm. How have you felt about that?
I think I'm okay with it now. Now that you've introduced me to your social media life.
Now that I have, but what were you thinking before?
Oh, that you were hiding me. You had all the side chicks. You had to keep up your...
You thought
you could play the field and no one would be any wiser for it. Yeah.
No, but in this day and age, I understand that. He doesn't want anyone to know. He can go out. Well, you know me well enough to know that's not who I am. However, in this day and age, I mean, does that even matter anymore? I feel like people just...
Oh, it matters.
Does it?
Oh, yeah. Everyone's doing it for the gram. You got to be Instagram official.
Right, okay.
It's a big deal.
No, I meant, like, does it matter that someone's not... Like, in other words, if it used to be like, oh, you can't have a girlfriend because then no one else would be interested. I feel like people just don't care about that anymore. It's just like, whatever, he's got someone else, I'm still having fun with him. Or, is that not how it works?
Not for me. I don't know. I don't know. What do you mean?
I'm asking, you're my finger, my pulse of the nation here. You're you're younger, you're the one who is all up on the social media stuff. I don't know as much as you. I go to you for this stuff.
I don't know.
You okay?
No.
Okay. Well, it's for because now you are public. I mean, you were announced. We put a picture of you up on New Year's Eve. There was a photo of you on my Instagram that did very well.
Not as well as Dave Chappelle.
Not as well as Dave Chappelle.
Which is a real problem for me. I'm not over it yet. He got 50 more likes than I did.
Dave Chappelle got 50 more likes.
That's
well, he has
insane.
more comedy specials than you do.
Wow. Still, I'm more important.
You are definitely more important to my life and my world. There's no question about that. So now how does it feel? I mean, there hasn't been any negativity. Nothing bad's happened. Okay, but now you're on my podcast, and that is, that's a grand step. This is on iTunes forever and ever. This is...
When you say it that way.
Well, what I thought it would be, we talked a lot about what we would talk about. I think it's a funny story, how we met, the night we met, and how it all came about. So I thought it would be funny if we recounted it, sort of a he said, she said.
Okay.
Not necessarily, that sounds like we have different stories. It's just my perspective versus yours. I will start. I'm not a big app users and dating apps, Bumble and all these. What else was there?
Hinge, Tinder.
What?
Grindr.
Grindr. Yeah, that was a real dark night. I downloaded Grindr and I was just really thinking, who am I? No, I actually. It was you okay?
Yeah, I'm dropping
You wrecking the set?
Yeah.
So I had messed around a little bit on those apps, but I was never a big fan. They struck me as a younger person's game. Being in my 40s, I was like, that's already like ancient in social media world. I argue that generally those tend to be a good looks contest. If some guy's hot, he gets the swipes, and if he's not, I think I've been told in the past that my I have a hot personality. I've been told that, and I've been told that I am better looking after you get to know me. So those are some of the compliments I've received. Point being, I don't think the face on its own, when you don't know anything, necessarily sells a ton of tickets. But I messed around with the apps a few times. I decided to get healthy. I was on the road, eating too much, out late at night, and finally said I'm going to lose some weight. And I was real disciplined for about a month or two. And really starting to feel good, look good, the whole thing. And I got confidence. I was on the road. I came back, and I'll never forget. It was a Friday night, May 11th, 2018. And I had just gotten back to town from a long road trip. But saying, like, yeah, feeling pretty good. It's nice to be back. Nice to have. I haven't had a girlfriend in forever. I hadn't even had a date in the longest time. And I thought it would be nice to, meet somebody. So I was performing that night at the Comedy Cellar. And you, well, I did not know you at the time, but you were down the street, unbeknownst to me. And I had Bumble in the past. I had put Bumble on my phone and then not used it and then reactivated all that stuff. I said, let me just go and swipe. Swiped a bit. As we've talked about, guys don't tend to be too particular, not because they're just casting the net, but it's, I felt like in the past I had been very, I read everything and I would be very specific and then swipe and then you just never hear. And you go weeks and weeks. And I swiped on a lot of people I thought I'd be right for and I never heard. So I got to the point where I was just swiping. Swipe, everyone. And then
That's good to hear.
Yeah, whoever came back.
Makes me feel so good every time you say it. Didn't care who it was.
So I'm at my apartment, about 4 or 5 p.m. maybe, 5 or 6 p.m. on a Friday, swiping everyone. You take it from there. What was your Friday like? Or tell me about your Bumble experience in general.
My Bumble experience was that I had some dates.
What?
From it in the past, in a couple years leading up to that. I had met a ex-boyfriend on the app.
What?
I know. There was a life before Michael. It was a very sad time in my life. This is the 30 years before, but
direction this thing was going to take.
Well, and then I had been off the apps for a while. I had broken up with an ex-boyfriend maybe 3 or 4 months earlier.
What?
And 2 weeks before May 11th, when we swiped and met and all that, one of my best friends and her now husband convinced me to re-download the app, do a whole new profile. They picked out my pictures. They helped me write what I was going to write. And they said, get back out there. And that is what I did. And, yeah, I don't know. It was a Friday and I worked from home and I was sitting on my couch around the corner from the Comedy Cellar having a little White Claw and doing a little swiping, and I saw University of Notre Dame
on my profile,
Michael S. and comedian, and I thought that doesn't really go with Notre Dame, but okay. And you were in your 30s per the app, and I thought, oh, maybe he's a few years older than me. We didn't cross paths at Notre Dame because it was, more than 4 years, but I thought maybe some of my friends know him. I'll do some investigating. But anyways, I still swiped right because obviously Notre Dame was going to get a right swipe no matter what.
Now, you told me something interesting. In the setup, I told you, I wasn't sure my face was selling tickets. You told me later on, you would tell me that you actually...
Oh, yeah.
Did what?
I cover the faces when I would be on Bumble because I didn't care about the pictures. I cared more about the occupation in the college. So I don't know if that sounds better or worse. I'm superficial in a different way. I don't know.
That's true. But it's kind of like hold on. Is that shallow or is that more
just depends on which way you want to look at it. But I was definitely, you were saying yes to everyone and I was saying no to pretty much everybody. And there's very few Notre Damers on there, so that in and of itself was a big plus.
For our listeners, Kate also went to Notre Dame.
Irish.
So I'm not sure if we go Irish, which is the first thing you texted me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how I was supposed to feel about that. I'm like, oh, she liked the way I looked. Oh, apparently she didn't even look at me. That's how I got through the door. So you text me literally go Irish.
I did.
Okay, and I'm taken aback. I'm in my apartment, and I'm, oh my goodness, what is this about? So I looked deeper into your profile, and certainly was attracted to you, and University of Notre Dame, the whole thing. So we had a nice little banter back and forth.
We did. It was very, very, quick responses, and You were funny, which I mean, I was hoping since that was your
As a
since
comedian.
that was what your career was or occupation. But yeah, I don't know. It quickly went from what dorm were you in and when did you last go back to campus and what football games to you saying, I have a show down the street tonight. Do you want to come? And about 6 minutes into the conversation.
We did stumble upon these texts recently. We downloaded the app again because there was a point in our relationship where we said you want to be exclusive and delete the apps, but we found it not that long ago and the conversation was still there. It was hysterical to read. I was pretty quick to try to tell you that I was a comedian from the Comedy Cellar.
Yes, you were.
Which, for those who don't know, kind of the big, awesome club here in New York, really one of the best clubs in the world, if not the. And so I was apparently trying to name drop which would not be the last time that night I tried to impress you. So I say, okay, great, I got these shows, why don't you come on out? Now, in fairness, I didn't have that many women who actually wrote to me, so, but.
And meanwhile, I was juggling like 6 conversations at a time. So I was like, wait, who's talking to me right now? Is this Michael from Notre Dame or is this Joe from, Georgetown? I'm just kidding. It was only like 4.
I got into Georgetown, by the way. I got in also. I chose Notre Dame.
I didn't apply there.
Okay. So I didn't hear from that many women, but I did feel like Notre Dame, the connection it cut through the anonymity, if you will, of this is a stranger that I don't know anything about. So like, okay, I kind of trust them. My friend who was Jewish would tell me, like, yeah, it's like meeting another Jew. You're like, okay. I was like, I don't know if that's the same, but okay. So I said, okay, great. I there's a level of trust. I invite you to my shows, and you tell me what happened.
I said, sorry, I can't. I had dinner plans, which was true, and the best friend and now husband who had me re-download the app and did my profile and all that, we had plans to go out to dinner, and, I wasn't going to just drop those plans, but... and we were going out in the neighborhood, so I had said maybe we can meet up after for a drink. To which you kind of said, all right, like, maybe, or we'll see.
I was pissed.
Yeah, well, you act like you were, but you didn't really show it that much.
Well, of course not, but inside.
You stopped the frequency of your texts. I mean, they were coming rapid fire, and then you slowed it down a little bit. So
yeah, it was only one every 8 seconds after that. Yes.
Exactly. I was going to say, like, let's not act like you went totally.
And we did go to text, by the way, right? We did numbers and went to text.
Yeah, I think your third thing you said to me was, here's my cell phone number, and then the fourth one was, do you want to come to my show at the Comedy Cellar? So
it had been a while since a woman talked to me. No, so the truth was I was so excited. I was really getting very excited about you because your answers were funny. You were funny. I was feeling like I was in the zone. It all felt good. And then, of course, it was silly of me to expect or assume you'd be just available in 3 hours that night. But I took it personally when you were like, I can't. I have dinner. So I was like, fine. I don't need her either. So I'll move, whatever. And so, I went to my show. It was a great night at the Cellar. And we're hanging out. And you said, I think, text me when you're done, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
and
we'll
you
get a drink.
didn't.
And I didn't, intentionally.
But in the interim between all of that happening and you going to your shows, I started texting some of my good friends from Notre Dame who actually one of my friend's husbands I thought was right around your age, according to Bumble.
According to what I said my age was on Bumble.
In your later 30s. And I was like, oh my gosh, they maybe graduated together. Let me see if this person, if my friend's husband knows him. Very quickly then, he writes back when I say his name's Michael. He's a comedian. I think he's around this year of, undergrad. I get a text back like, no, he's not. Like, he's in his 40s. And I'm like, oh, he's lying to me already. So already I knew I was on to you. But yeah, I went to dinner with my friend and her husband, and I was saying the same thing. This guy was really funny. We had a good text exchange. Like, he's at the Comedy Cellar tonight. And then my friend's husband, got so excited by that and was like, let's go see if we can, see the comedians and whatever. And the rest is history. I said he didn't text me. I told him to text me, and he hasn't texted. And so with a little bit of encouragement from my best friend's husband, he told me to make the move.
Make the move.
And text you. And I got a response within 0.2 seconds. It was as if you were already just like had the first half of the sentence.
I was just
responded and
just
waiting
to hit reply. No, well, and then thanks to that husband, because he was turns out a comedy fan, so that was a big help for me. He actually liked comedy, so I think he was excited to just go to the Comedy Cellar. So okay, a cut back to me. We said, great, I'm at the Comedy Cellar, come meet me. And my buddy, one of my comedy friends, is sitting there next to me. I'm done with my shows, and there's a little comics table there. And so my initial thing is I'm always trying to be user-friendly. It was kind of crowded. There was a lot of comedians around. So there's another bar across the street that I said, maybe I'll just suggest that we go and meet there. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I even said to you.
You said the name of it, which I repeated to my friend and her husband. I was like, oh my God, that's the bar right below my apartment.
It's
so
right.
It was literally in my building. It was the bar on the first floor of my building. I'm like, he's either stalking me or this is a really crazy coincidence, or maybe it's fate. But then started walking there, and within 2 minutes you changed your mind and said, actually, no, can you come to the Comedy Cellar, the bar next to it, which I had been to before, and it is definitely a different scene than the first bar.
Divier.
Yeah, well, and busier and more people, and just, it's a different vibe and louder, and so, especially on a weekend night, since I am familiar with it, and I was like, oh gosh, we're going there on a Friday night, so I brought my friends for backup because I was unsure of what I was walking into at that bar.
And the reason I did that is because one of my comic friends, who was so funny, a veteran and a bit of a gadabout, if you will, with the ladies, I think. I told him what was happening. I met this girl on Bumble, and I'm excited. I want to meet her. I'm going to go. And he said, are you crazy? You're nobody out there, talking about outside of the bar. The bar we were talking about, that we're sitting in, is part of the comedy club. And he goes, you're somebody in here. You were at the comics table. We get free drinks. You have status. People just saw you perform. They're coming over and talking to you. You leave those doors, and you're just another person on the street. You go to another bar. You're nobody. You bring her here. That was his recommendation. I'm like, he's brilliant. I got to bring her over here and do this. And so that was the reason for the change. And what did I tell you? When you get there, there's a doorman. What did I say?
I said, just tell him you're with Michael Somerville. Just drop my name at the door and cut the line to get in. First of all, this isn't a bar that has, like, a hard door policy. We're not talking about a club with bottle service.
Getting into the top.
I actually don't know if they ever have a line, but I was certainly
There is
not.
a doorman checking ID.
Well, right, as most bars in New York have. But I figured if I was going to just walk into the bar, I didn't need to let him know where I was going. And I'd been to the bar before, so I knew where the comics sat. I knew where I was going. I knew how to get my own drink. Like I was just fine. So that's what I did with my friend and her husband, in case you were,
You brought the posse, the friend and the husband. You showed up at the table with a drink already. So I mean, I was powerless. I didn't get you in. I couldn't even get you a free drink and show my status there. Mm-hmm. I had absolutely nothing. Yeah. But I would argue from there, it went very well.
It did. And you got up when I texted to say, I'm getting my own drink, and I didn't say your name, but I'll meet you back there.
I'm not dropping your name. I think you actually texted me in real time going, I'm not using your name, but I'll see you there.
Yeah, exactly. So I got my drink, and I remember walking to the back where I knew the comics table was, and you stood up, and you had this very big, happy smile on your face, and you were so excited to see me.
You were real.
Which made me, yes.
You know how many times I've been catfished?
No. Oh,
kidding, joking.
But no, and you were, I don't know, you had a big jovial grin on your face. You were very excited, and I was excited, and yeah, it just felt very normal, and like I already knew you, even though we'd only texted a little bit, but yeah, it was a good night. It was fun.
It was fun, yes,
yeah.
And I feel like it's felt normal and very natural ever since. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yes.
Yes?
So natural. This is the most natural thing we've done.
Does this feel very organic?
So natural.
To have you propped up against a microphone talking about our relationship?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is about the nicest you've been to me.
gonna make me do this more often.
Yeah, exactly. No, well, I'm always looking for interesting guests, and you've been very resistant. So I'm very thankful that you were willing to come on and share a little of our lives together and your perspective on it. Maybe this is how I'll start asking you questions, like things I want to know about you and us, or just making requests of you.
Yeah.
Sweetie, can you take out the trash more often, please? That's a joke.
That's now.
Oh,
I
no,
take
no.
the trash out.
You do it lovely.
It's one of the few things I do
Yeah,
pretty regularly.
You do wonderfully.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for stopping by our studio. I'm absolutely thrilled that you agreed to be a guest. You are my favorite guest that we've ever had. Over 2 years now we're doing this. It's a 2-year anniversary basically right now. Yeah, and almost our 2-year anniversary in May.
We got 5 months, 4 months to go.
Think we're gonna make it?
I hope so, because we live together. So
we got a lease for a while, huh?
Yeah, we got another year on the lease. But...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is my girlfriend, Miss Kate. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time, or hear you next time on Greetings from Somerville.